if you don't feel like you have the time or the patience to read the 22-page executive summary, if you don't even feel like you have the time or the patience to read those 4 pages, if that 4-page preface is still just not going to get itself read, don't kid yourself, I'm never going to get to it. There's an even quicker way you can get to the point here, which is an old cramming for the test trick that I swear I never actually used in school, which is to just look at the headings. Have you ever used this trick? Watch this. It's magic. It's like the children's book version of a president criming his way to being impeached. Watch. Here we go. First heading, the president's request for a political favor. Then, the president removed anti-corruption champion Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch. Then, the president's hand-picked agents began the scheme. Then, the president froze vital military assistance. Then, the president conditioned a White House meeting on investigations. Then, the president pressed President Zelensky to do a political favor. Then, the president's representatives ratcheted up the pressure on the Ukrainian president. Then, the president's security assistance hold became public. Dun, dun, dun. Then, the president's scheme unraveled. Then, the denouement, the kicker, the thing that runs in the middle of the credits to keep you sitting in your seats. The president's chief of staff confirmed the aid was conditioned on investigations. All right, so they are covering all their bases here. Even if you don't feel like you have time to read the 300-page-long impeachment report, there is a 22-page executive summary just for you. But even if you don't feel like you can read those 22 pages, don't worry, there's a 4-page preface that nuts it all up. Even if you don't feel like you can read that 4-page preface, you could just read the first couple paragraphs, which nut it up even more tidily. Even if you don't feel like you could absorb those 2 paragraphs, here, in 78 words, is exactly what happened. And which is why this president is on his way to being impeached. 78 words that even have, like, a plot twist and a denouement. I mean, we get it now, right? And the president decided he was going to demand help from this foreign country against Joe Biden for his re-election effort. He took out the responsible anti-corruption ambassador there and had his own guys take over the dealings in Ukraine for the purposes of this scheme. Those guys and the president himself pressured Ukraine, including blocking a White House meeting they really wanted, holding up military assistance to that country. Then the whole thing only fell apart when they got caught doing it, and it all became public. And so now he's being impeached. I mean, you can read all about it at any length now. You can read about it in fulsome detail at 300 pages. Or you can boil it down to 78 words. But it's all the same story.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.